In this video, we're going a long time ago in a town far, far away as we look at the very first expandable card game that I ever played, a little card game called Young Jedi. The year was 1999. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace had just been released into theaters. And I, being in like 7th grade, was that like 13? Loved the movie. I thought it was great. I had just recently gotten interested in Star Wars with the special edition re-releases into theaters. So I am very new into this whole Star Wars thing. And unlike years later when I would watch these and realize how terrible they were, I was all in on this. I thought Darth Maul was cool, and the lightsabers and the fights and everything was just amazing. Around the same time, Decipher, the company that made the Star Wars CCG, was trying to find a way of getting all these kids playing this Pokemon thing to get those kids into their Star Wars CCG. So they made a newer game themed around the Episode 1 movie that had just come out called Young Jedi, with the idea being that this was supposed to be something that kids would be more likely to play, and then as they grew out of the game, they would then transition into the CCG. Now, a lot of this I'm taking from Wikipedia and the Board Game Geek page and a couple other references I found online, so I might get a minor detail wrong here. So the way the game would play is one person would be the dark side, one person would be the light side, and you would battle over 3 different planets. You had Naboo, you had Coruscant, and you had Tatooine. And the first player would pick the starting planet, and you would play cards onto the planet that were various characters and their weapons and etc., etc. And then eventually you would battle. Each person would put them a face-down stack of, it would be like a battle card, which would like modify a card. Then you had a weapon card, and then a character card, so you'd flip them over until you got to a character card, and then each character would fight. So you'd add up like all their power, these little power dots on here, and then you combine it with the Destiny Cube icon that's up in the top corner there, and whoever won stayed, the loser got discarded. And then you just keep going and going until there was only one player that had cards left there. They won the planet, you'd move to another planet. When you won 2 planets, you won the game, or when your opponent ran out of cards. It's a fairly straightforward kind of CCG type game. It's kind of funny because having played so many games now, I don't know if these games are directly connecting to Young Jedi, and I never played the Star Wars CCG, so I don't know if this was a trait originally. But the idea of having multiple planets and you're trying to battle and gain like control of 2 out of the 3 of the planets is something you still see as a concept to this day. It's not really, I don't really like it so much. It's just kind of like, but like I know the Warhammer 40K Conquest game for Fantasy Flight, that LCG had a very similar idea in that you were fighting on planets. And then also the Sorcerer card game from White Wizard also does a very similar thing, except for they have like a whole bunch of different locations. So now that we've talked about the game, why did I stop playing it? Well, the chief reason is that the game died. The game was only around for a couple of years because in 2001, Decipher lost the rights to Star Wars and it got picked up, apparently, by Wizards of the Coast. But regardless, around the same time, I was also not playing it as much anyways. In fact, I don't even think the 3rd set, I think I stopped playing around. There's the enhanced, as I'm looking it up, the enhanced Darth Maul set. I never even got to the third big set, which was the Battle of the Fates, or Duel of the Fates. Never even saw that stuff come out. And why did I do that? Because really, there was only 2 people I played with. I played with my brother, and I played with a friend at school, and that was it. Like, those were the only 2 people I knew anywhere that played this game. And this is before the internet. Well, the internet was around, but I wasn't using it really. So there wasn't really like tournaments, or I didn't know of a game store nearby for me. I was just buying this I'm pretty sure at Borders was where I bought most of these cards at. Is just I was at the bookstore that was down the road, and every time I'd go in, I'd just be buying packs, and that's where the drug hit me of buying packs to try and get those awesome cards. So there you go. There's a couple of traits in here you're going to see a lot. First of all, things that I didn't like about the game. This is going to be a reoccurring theme of I'm not a fan of having to build 2 decks of things where, I got to have a light side and a dark side deck, both being super good in order to be able to win successfully. And especially when you've got a CCG format, I've got to go buy packs and hunt around for cards for both decks to assemble them and to be able to play effectively. Granted, I wasn't doing that because I only knew about 2 people, but it embedded in my mind that whole idea of don't really like having to build 2 decks in order to be good at this game. And lastly, I think I would have played this game more if I just knew more people that played it. But it was just the 3 of us that was the only people that played. And especially when you're in a game where you can only build so many decks because you only are limited to how many cards you have and how many good cards that you can build decks around, that you get kind of tired of playing against the same types of deck. Like, my brother's got this deck, so I know it's good against that, so I can build towards that, but I don't only have a certain amount of cards, so what am I going to do? And I'm tired of playing again. I'm tired of losing against this deck. My brother's tired of losing against me with my deck. Or we're just tired of playing against the same deck over and over again. So there you go. There is the first in this series of what is Young Jedi and why did I stop playing it? Did you play Young Jedi? Let me know down in the comments below. And if there's any card games like this, like the Star Wars CCG, let me know what you thought of those games down in the comments below. And if you want to see the rest of the series, make sure you like and subscribe so that you get the rest of these videos. But until next time, may all your hits be crits.